Hello to whoever may be watching this. I will summarize the 5 Ns of math that I have learned in the past 2 years of middle school. These are the 5 Ns. The first N is to solve 1 and 2 step variable equations using the algebraic method. The algebraic method refers to the different methods used to solve equations. There are multiple methods, which include graphing, substitution, and elimination. Graphing is where you put the equation on a graph with x and y, and you locate the needed points on the graph. However, this does not work with nonlinear equations. It can also be hard to conclude the coordinates of a specific point if it isn't perfectly on a coordinate. The next method is substitution. Substitution is where you switch out an unknown variable, for example, x, for a number that you know is the solution to the equation, and you solve the equation with the new information at hand. However, this will not work if you do not know any numbers that are confirmed to be a solution to the equation. You could also test your answers using this method to see if the answer works with the equation. The final method is elimination. You cancel out numbers and extra variables with inverse operation, and you isolate one variable on one and the solution on the other side. In the end, the solution looks like this. This would work with most solvable equations, and I believe that this is the method we would use the most this year. The second N is to solve 1 and 2 step variable inequalities using algebraic method. It is very similar to solving equations, but with a few differences. The inequality is solved the same way as an equation, but with an exception. If you divide or multiply a negative number on both sides for inverse operations, you need to flip the inequality sign. Also, due to the inequality, you need to be aware of the answer as it is an inequality sign instead of an equal sign. The third N is to graph linear equations in slope-intercept and standard form. Slope-intercept form is the equation y equals mx plus b, in where y is the y value of a point on the line of the equation, m is the slope of the line, x is the x value of a point on the line of the equation, and b is the y-intercept, which is the value of y when x is 0 on the line of the equation. To graph an equation in slope-intercept form, first simplify the equation into y equals mx plus b format. You then plot the y-intercept, which is 0, b. You then take the slope, which is m, and you find a second point using the y-intercept and plot that point. You can continue the graphed line as much as you wish. Standard form is where the equation is ax times by equals c. The letter a is the number x is multiplied with. B is the number y is multiplied with. C is an individual number that, once turned into y equals mx plus b format, will become the y-intercept. Note that in standard form, it is not the y-intercept. To graph an equation in standard form, first you simplify the ax plus by equals c format into y equals mx plus b. You then graph as you would with a regular slope-intercept equation. The fourth N is to use IFSMU to solve word problems. IFSMU is an acronym which stands for the following. I stands for identify, in which you list the variables that you would use in the following equations. F is for formula, where you write the formula that you would be using to solve the problem. S is for substitution, where you substitute the variables in the formula for the variables that you identified in the I section. M is for math, where you calculate the solution to the equation you created in the S section. And finally, U is for units, where you label your final answer with the appropriate units. For simpler word problems, you could combine F and S into one step as well as M and U, but for larger problems it is best to not combine them to decrease errors. Here is an example. Jeff has 10 more pencils than Billy, and Billy has 20 pencils. How many pencils does Jeff have? First, we identify that Billy has 20 pencils, and Jeff has 10 more pencils than him. Next, we take the formula, which in this case is A equals B plus C. We then substitute the numbers. A is Jeff's pencils, B is Billy's pencils, and finally, C is the 10 pencil difference, so in the end it looks like J equals 20 plus 10. We do some really quick math 101, and 20 plus 10 is 30. We add the units, and in the end our final answer is 30 pencils. Here we are at our fifth and final N. The fifth one is to simplify numerical, algebraic, and radical expressions. To simplify a numerical, algebraic, or radical expression, you need to combine the like terms in the expressions until there are no more like terms to combine. So what are like terms? Like terms are terms whose variables and their exponents are the same. For example, 5x and 3x are like terms, 9x squared and 3x squared are also like terms. You combine like terms by combining their coefficients. So, 5x plus 3x is 8x, and 9x squared plus 3x squared is 12x squared. I believe that is everything. I hope I covered it all, and thanks for watching. Also, please consider leaving a like and subscribing as I put a lot of effort into this video.